Alright guys, hope everyone's well and welcome back to the YouTube channel. So today I'm going to touch on what supplements I take on a daily basis. And the reason being is just to offer some value on what supplements I believe are potentially beneficial and what supplements you should potentially take, and the decision process or the decision making process I use when I decipher, right, is this going to benefit me or not from a supplement standpoint. To start off, just because I'm taking these doesn't mean you need to. Everyone's diet looks different, so your needs might be different from mine's. Everyone's budget is different, and you don't need supplements. There's very little, if not no supplements you need, and you can get most of the benefit from just eating quality foods, and that's going to yield a much larger reward. I'd rather see someone nail their training, train hard, sleep well, and then supplements, as the name suggests, are used to supplement what you're already doing, not to compensate from having a lack of consistency with your sleep or like a poor diet. It's not to like replace any of those basics, because they're going to be yielding the most reward when it comes to your progress. So make sure you've got those nailed if you're considering taking some supplements and not using it as like a crutch or to fix any underlying issues with anything like digestion, sleep, or that sort of thing there. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, subscribe, like, leave a comment. All the support, again, greatly appreciated as always. So I've not long finished my first meal of the day, or in other words breakfast, and this is after breakfast is basically when I take most of my supplements for the day. The reason why I take them after breakfast is some supplements are fat soluble, meaning you need fat to basically digest them effectively and absorb what's in them, because like if we get fat soluble and water soluble like vitamins and that, so if let's say we are having supplements that we need a fat source to utilise and we're not having them with a fat source, then we're kind of just throwing our money away. So the supplements I take in the morning after my breakfast are fish oils. So these are a good anti-inflammatory, as the name suggests, or it's actually omega-3 fish oils. We get fish oil from having things like salmon and other fish, and it is, like I said, a good anti-inflammatory. It has good benefits in terms of heart health, I believe, and also keeping your joints nice and healthy. And if you're having fish like very regularly on a daily basis, you might not need that, but doesn't do any harm. It's one of the ones that I highly recommend. Next up, I have coenzyme Q10. So I actually, in the past, have been quite prone to getting headaches during the day, or specifically during training, which can set me back a decent bit. So this is why I take coenzyme Q10. If it would actually focus on it, there we are. Next up, I take quercetin, which helps with my allergies. I do usually get quite bad hay fever, and I just tend to get quite a blocked nose throughout the year, and some allergies I've got, like a cat, and so does my girlfriend, and I feel like I'm a bit allergic to them actually, which is not ideal considering I have one, but that's why I take that. Next up, multivitamin. It's just a good insurance policy after obviously making sure your diet's in a good spot. It just ensures you're getting everything you need in regards to vitamins and minerals throughout the day. And next up, glucosamine, which is good for your joints. If it will focus on it, it's quite a common and well-known supplement that can help in terms of your joint support. And then next up, vitamin D3, something we get from sunlight, and if you live in Scotland you don't get a lot of sunlight just due to it being cloudy all the time. So out of these three that I'd highly recommend and I think are good staples, and that includes out of every supplement I take, is the vitamin D3, again because we don't get a lot of sunlight in the UK, and it's hard to get enough from like whole foods. And multivitamin, just a good insurance policy to ensure you're getting all the nutrients you need and don't have any deficiencies, which can help with your immune function. And omega-3s, because most people don't consume a lot of fish, and also they don't really they don't really consume a lot of fish, simple as that, so they're probably not getting enough. And again, if you, let's say, live in Spain, you're out in the sun 24/7 and it's sunny throughout the whole year, then you might not need the vitamin D. So that's what I mean, it's independent on yourself and what your deficiencies are and where you live, etc. So next up I have, or just at my second meal of the day, and this is a supplement I take every or after every carbohydrate containing meal, and it's called Glycomax. So it's basically a glucose disposal agent, and the benefit of glucose disposal agents is it just basically helps you utilise carbohydrates a bit more effectively. So when we consume a lot of carbs in things like a gaining phase, you're eating them consistently for a long duration of time, we don't utilise our carbohydrates as well. We become less sensitive to insulin, and we're more likely when we're insulin resistant, so when we can't utilise carbohydrates as well, our blood sugar levels increase consistently, we're more likely to store it as body fat. It's generally not as good for our health having like high insulin resistance. So Glycomax, which is a glucose disposal agent, like I said, helps manage this. In terms of if you need it, it's not one like you can't just like slam cheat meals and then or off plan meals and take that and not gain any body fat. What's going to help you manage your blood sugar levels the most, or your blood glucose levels the most, is just having appropriate rate of gain and having good habits in terms of sleep, and just making sure your diet's in a good spot and you're relatively active. But this can help a bit more, give you that extra like 1%, if that makes sense. And as a result, over long periods of time, you could see a difference in terms of the amount of body fat you have and the amount of muscle you have. You might be a bit bigger without gaining as much body fat. So it's not any magic supplement, just like the rest of them aren't. And I wouldn't recommend, this isn't essential. That's kind of like a luxury or one you definitely don't need. But I want to get the most out of my progress. I want to build as much muscle as possible, so I'm willing to invest that extra bit on supplements like Glycomax, which is, like I said, a glucose disposal agent. So next up we have my pre and intra workout, which, as the name suggests, pre I'll have before training, intra I'll have during training. So my pre-workout I'm using is just a pump product. Benefit of a pump: improve your potentially ability to recover and nutrient delivery to the target muscle. And something to say, I'd recommend nailing your diet, having carbohydrates before and after your session, some fats before even considering having a pre-workout. That helps you get a pump, because having carbohydrates and salting your meals also, because that's going to have much of a greater effect. And salting meals is something not a lot of people do, and pump products actually have salt in them for that reason. So yeah, have plenty of salt on your pre-workout meal and during your meals as a whole. And if you're drinking something flavoured during your session, then there's no reason why you can't put a gram or two of salt in it. So yeah, superhuman pump I'm having, which helps you focus, get a pump, increase nutrient delivery, potentially recovery and performance as well. And in my intra workout, I've just made this up, so if you see some clumps at the bottom, that's why. So intra-workout, it's basically got carbohydrates, an electrolyte powder and creatine. The electrolyte powder, it means you're not going to be dehydrated during your session, because hydration isn't just about how much water we're drinking. It's about having electrolytes like sodium, potassium, like I just mentioned about salt. So you don't really need to have salt during your session if you're having electrolyte powder like this. And in order to like utilize carbohydrates effectively, we want to have like salt as well to be able to get a pump, to be able to perform well. And I've also got carbohydrate powder. Carbs are a main source of energy. It makes sense having them during the session. Carbohydrates also help us spike insulin, which is anabolic in nature, so it promotes muscle growth in other words, and stops your blood sugar levels dropping, so your performance stays elevated throughout. It can also help you recover. And throughout my session as well, about 2 hours after my pre-workout meal, which I've just ate, I will have essential amino acids, which I keep in the bottom of my shaker here. The reason why I have that 2 hours after eating my pre-workout meal is we want to space out our protein servings throughout the day. If we have, let's say, protein every hour, we've got something called muscle protein synthesis. We want that to be spiked. We want that to be able to go back to baseline before it being spiked again. If we just have it every hour, it will just blunt it and then it will go down and we won't be able to spike it. So we need to space it out 2.5 hours, which is why I wait at that time. So giving you all my secrets today. Do you need to do this? No, you don't. Will it make a marginal difference over time? Potentially, which is why I do it. Again, I want to make the most of my progress in the gym. Hence why I do this. You don't need any of these products, but they give me an extra edge, and all the little things add up, and I'm a big believer of that. So yeah, I'm about to go train now. And yeah, creatine helps performance, well researched supplement. I don't really have to talk to you about creatine, hopefully you know about that already, but if you don't have it, get it. Take 5 grams a day, enough said. So yeah, hope everyone's having a great day, and I'll catch you after my session. So that is back and hamstrings wrapped up. Overall, a really productive session, and I hit 180. So 4 plates for 7 on the RDL. My first time RDLing 4 plates, so I was really happy with that. Next, supplements that go in on a daily basis is what I take post-workout, which is basically, if you see it in there, it's L-theanine, magnesium, and also taurine and ashwagandha. They all help you basically get into a relaxed state. The benefit of that is when we are in a relaxed state, we recover better, we digest our food better, so we want to switch when we're training from a sympathetic state, like a fight or flight state, to a parasympathetic state, a rest and digest state, so that we can, as the word suggests, digest our food well and also just recover in general. Get cortisol, which is the stress hormone, nice and low, so we can have a good night's sleep. So yeah, I usually just gub these. I'm so used to taking supplements like pills, I don't really need water anymore, I can just swallow them. So yeah, I'm taking these and then eating my post-workout, which is cream of rice as usual, as you've probably seen in my story before if you follow me on Instagram. And then I'm going back in the gym to film some clips for the exercise library. Alright guys, so back from the gym now, and it is close to 8 o'clock, so I'm going to show you what I take pre-bed. I take this 30 minutes before bed because I want to just try and have some downtime because I've had a really busy day. But basically it is called Support Max Neuro. It's a sleep aid which has things like magnesium, L-taurine, L-theanine, and ashwagandha in it. So similar to what I take post-workout, but also some things like zinc, choline, lion's mane, lemon balm, and a few other things. And the benefit of this is it can help you get sleep and stay asleep and have better sleep quality. And I'm a big fan of sleep supplements. Granted, everything else is already in a good spot, meaning you are having a good sleep-wake routine, you are trying to limit light before bed, you're getting bright light in the morning, you are making sure you're sleeping in a cool room, a dark room, making sure you're comfortable, etc., all the basics. Then maybe look at sleep supplementation, but unless you're nailing them, I think your money is best spent elsewhere. And the reason why I like sleep supplementation is sleep has a big impact on many factors, like our ability to drop fatigue and stay fatigue free so we can train harder for longer periods. Things like injury risk, things like our digestion, our mental focus, our ability to recover and build muscle and perform well. So it impacts a ton of things. So I'm a big fan of sleep supplements for that reason. Like if you can get more out of the time you're spending asleep, you might as well do so. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Quick recap on what supplements I think are potentially best for or the most important supplements in my opinion. It would be creatine, a multivitamin, vitamin D, omega-3, and then from there basically whatever your diet's deficient in. For example, if you're vegetarian or vegan, you probably don't have a lot of iron or B12, so that would be the best for yourself. However, if you, let's say, never get sunlight, then vitamin D. So it just depends what you're deficient in. That's what's going to be best. But make sure you're nailing the basics beforehand. And if you want to get an extra boost or get more out of what you're doing, then of course you can consider supplements. But they're definitely not needed, and you can definitely get very far without. So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, subscribe, share on your story, and let me know what you want to see in the comments. Greatly appreciate everyone's support as per.